Today we're covering Season 2, Episode 2, Who Mourns for Adonais? Fun fact, despite the name of this episode and the fact that the Greek god Apollo actually appears in this episode, Adonais is not the name of any of the characters in Greek mythology. It is in fact a pseudonym for John Keats, who died in 1821. The poem, also titled Adonais, was the eulogy written that same year by Percy Shelley. So, this year marks the 200th anniversary of that poem. Our story begins with the Enterprise on routine operations. Kirk and McCoy are deciding if Scotty should be allowed to date Lieutenant Palamas.
He thinks he's the right man for her. I'm not sure she thinks he's the right man. On the other hand, she's a woman.
Suddenly, a giant hand reaches out from a planet and grabs the ship.
Godlike.
Kirk tells Sulu to...
Our forward tractor beams adjust to repel. Aye, sir.
Set the tractor beam to repel only takes a minute in the 23rd century. I'm sure that'll never be an issue. Well, they beam down to find a being who calls himself Apollo and also wants to decide who Lieutenant Palamas should date.
You seem wise for a woman. What is your name?
Anyway, Apollo seduces Lieutenant Palamas with the power of a pretty dress and then demonstrates that he's much bigger than Captain Kirk. Scotty objects and Apollo tosses his stunt double aside. Kirk disciplines Scotty with the power of racism.
Besides, you stiff-necked thistlehead, you could have gotten yourself killed.
And then he orders Scotty not to attack Apollo again. So when Apollo comes back, Scotty, of course, immediately attacks him again, once again causing his stunt double to go flying across the room. Kirk confirms once again that there is no money in the 23rd century.
Mr. Checo, I think you've earned your pay for the week.
Apollo gives Kirk a little bit of ultimate pain, and interestingly enough, earlier Kirk suggested that Apollo is in fact the real deal.
What if he is really Apollo?
And in the end, reaffirms his belief in the Judeo-Christian God.
What else does mankind demand of its gods?
Mankind has no need for gods. We find the one quite adequate.
Making this the first show to not only suggest that the Judeo-Christian God is actual historic fact, but so is the Greco-Roman myths. Because, you know, Star Trek has always been purely secular. Well, Kirk is out of options, so he pulls out his most powerful tool and gives Lieutenant Palamas an inspirational speech so that she will betray Apollo, and the Enterprise and Apollo engage in a direct conflict as the Enterprise destroys the temple that is the source of Apollo's power. So, now we can confirm that Kirk beat a literal god.
You wanna be in a galaxy where Star Trek isn't lame. You wanna go where everybody knows your name.